The paradox of ambition, why it's both a gift and a curse. What drives you forward in life? For most of us, the answer is ambition. It's that inner fire, that relentless need to achieve, to grow, to become something greater. Ambition feels like the engine of progress, both for individuals and for humanity as a whole. Without it, we'd still be huddled around fires in caves, surviving but never thriving. And yet, if we look closely, ambition has a darker side, one that consumes us, leads to dissatisfaction, and can hollow out our very existence. This dual nature of ambition, a gift and a curse, is something Friedrich Nietzsche explored deeply. Nietzsche, a philosopher who was both revered and feared for his audacious ideas, saw ambition as one of the most powerful forces in human life. He believed it was essential for self-overcoming, for becoming what he called the Übermensch, or overman. But he also warned of its dangers, the endless striving, the insatiable hunger, the way it can trap us in cycles of comparison and despair. So, let's start with the gift. Why is ambition such a powerful force? Nietzsche believed that life, at its core, is a will to power, to grow, to expand. This isn't just about power in the political or social sense. It's about the fundamental drive to overcome limitations, to create, to leave a mark on the world. Ambition, in this sense, is the manifestation of the will to power. It's what pushes us to strive for greatness, to break free from mediocrity, to transcend our current selves. Think about your own life. Have you ever felt that deep, burning desire to achieve something? Maybe it was a goal you set for yourself, a dream you couldn't let go of, or even an abstract sense that you were meant for something more. That's ambition at work. It's what gives life direction, momentum, meaning. Without it, we stagnate. We settle for less than we're capable of. But here's the paradox: the very thing that drives us forward can also hold us back. Ambition, when unchecked, becomes a curse. Nietzsche called this the danger of resentment, a kind of bitterness or envy that arises when we measure our worth against others. Ambition often traps us in this comparison game. No matter how much we achieve, there's always someone who seems to have more success, more recognition, more power. And so, instead of finding fulfillment in our own growth, we become consumed by what we lack. Let me ask you this: how often do you compare yourself to others? How much of your ambition is driven by your own desires, and how much is shaped by the need to outdo someone else?
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound spiritual lesson.
Nietzsche would argue that true ambition, the kind that elevates us, is rooted in self-overcoming, not in comparison. To be ambitious in a healthy way, we must focus on becoming the best version of ourselves, not on surpassing others. But that's easier said than done. Society constantly feeds us messages that our value lies in external achievements, awards, promotions, wealth, status. And when we internalize these messages, ambition becomes a treadmill. We run faster and faster, but we never arrive. In the next section, we'll explore why ambition feels so insatiable, the role of struggle in Nietzsche's philosophy, and how we can channel our ambition in ways that lead to growth rather than exhaustion. The hunger that never ends, why ambition is both limitless and dangerous. Have you ever noticed that no matter how much you achieve, it never feels like enough? You set a goal, work tirelessly to reach it, and for a brief moment, you feel triumphant. But then, almost immediately, that feeling fades, replaced by a new desire, a new goal, a new mountain to climb. It's as if ambition has no finish line. Nietzsche understood this deeply. He saw ambition as a reflection of life's fundamental nature, limitless, always striving, always reaching for more. Life, he argued, is not about contentment, it's about growth, transformation, and overcoming. To stop striving is, in a sense, to stop living. This is why ambition feels so natural to us. It's the expression of life's will to power, its drive to expand and evolve. But here's the problem: if ambition has no finish line, how do we avoid being consumed by it? How do we reconcile our desire for achievement with our need for fulfillment? Nietzsche's answer lies in the idea of struggle. Struggle, Nietzsche believed, is not just a painful necessity, it's the very source of meaning. Think about it: the moments in your life that you're most proud of, that have shaped you the most, likely came from overcoming challenges. It's through struggle that we grow, that we discover what we're capable of, that we transform into something greater. Ambition, when paired with struggle, becomes a tool for self-overcoming. But here's the paradox: struggle can also become a trap. If we're not careful, we start to define our worth entirely by what we achieve. We become addicted to the chase, to the feeling of conquering the next obstacle. And when there's no obstacle in sight, we create one. This is where ambition turns dangerous. It becomes a cycle of endless striving, where the pursuit of success replaces the pursuit of meaning. Let me ask you this: are you chasing your ambitions because they bring you joy and growth, or because you're afraid of what will happen if you stop? Nietzsche warned against this kind of ambition, what we might call blind ambition. Blind ambition is when we pursue goals for the sake of pursuing them, without questioning whether those goals align with our values or contribute to our growth. It's when we sacrifice our well-being, our relationships, even our integrity, in the name of achievement. And the irony is, blind ambition often leads to the very thing we're trying to avoid: a sense of emptiness. So, how do we break free from this cycle? How do we channel ambition in a way that fuels us instead of draining us? Nietzsche's philosophy points to two key ideas: intentionality and perspective. First, we must be intentional about what we pursue. Ambition by itself isn't enough. It needs direction. It needs purpose. Ask yourself, what am I really striving for? Is it something that reflects my deepest values, or is it something I've been conditioned to want? Am I climbing this mountain because it's my mountain, or because someone else told me it's worth climbing? Second, we need to cultivate perspective. Nietzsche believed that life is not about reaching some final destination, it's about the journey, the process, the act of striving itself. When we focus too much on the outcome, we lose sight of the present moment. We forget to appreciate the struggles that shape us, the small victories along the way, the joy of simply being alive and striving. Here's something to reflect on: if you knew that the ultimate goal of your ambition would never satisfy you, would you still pursue it? And if so, why? In the next section, we'll dive into Nietzsche's concept of the Übermensch, how it redefines ambition, and why embracing imperfection is the key to finding meaning in the endless pursuit. Becoming the Übermensch, redefining ambition through self-overcoming. What if ambition isn't about achieving greatness, but about becoming greatness? What if the true purpose of ambition isn't to acquire more, but to transform yourself into someone capable of creating meaning in an otherwise chaotic world? This is where Nietzsche's concept of the Übermensch comes in: a vision of humanity not as it is, but as it could be. The Übermensch, or Overman, is Nietzsche's answer to the question of ambition. It's not about chasing external rewards like wealth, status, or recognition. It's about striving to transcend your current self, to overcome your limitations, and to create something truly unique and authentic. For Nietzsche, the Übermensch is someone who has embraced the paradox of ambition, someone who uses it as a force for personal growth rather than a tool for endless striving. But here's the catch: becoming the Übermensch, requires a complete rethinking of what ambition means. Most of us are taught to see ambition as a ladder we climb, with success at the top. But Nietzsche saw this as a shallow and ultimately hollow vision. He believed that ambition, when reduced to external achievements, becomes a prison. No matter how high you climb, you're still trapped in a system that defines your worth by how you compare to others. The Übermensch breaks free from this system. Instead of seeking validation from the outside world, they turn inward. They ask themselves, what do I value? What do I want to create? What kind of person do I want to become? Nietzsche called this process self-overcoming, and it's at the heart of his philosophy. Self-overcoming means embracing the struggle not as a means to an end, but as an end in itself. It means seeing every challenge, every failure, every setback as an opportunity to grow. It means taking full responsibility for your life, your choices, and your ambitions, not because you're trying to meet someone else's expectations, but because you're committed to becoming the best version of yourself. But here's the hard part: self-overcoming requires you to confront your deepest fears and insecurities. It forces you to let go of the comfort of comparison and external validation. It demands that you face the fact that life has no inherent meaning and that it's up to you to create your own. This is what Nietzsche called the great task of the Übermensch, the task of giving meaning to a meaningless universe. Let me ask you this: are your ambitions serving you, or are you serving them? Are they helping you grow, or are they keeping you stuck in a cycle of endless striving? Nietzsche believed that the key to breaking free from this cycle is to embrace imperfection. The Übermensch isn't someone who has everything figured out. They're not someone who has arrived at some final state of greatness. Instead, they're someone who is constantly evolving, constantly questioning, constantly striving. They don't see their flaws and failures as obstacles, they see them as part of the process. Think about your own life. How much time do you spend trying to hide your imperfections, to project an image of success, to prove to the world that you're enough? What would happen if you stopped trying to be perfect and started embracing the messy, imperfect process of growth? This is the essence of Nietzsche's vision. Ambition isn't about reaching a destination. It's about the journey. It's about the act of striving, the process of becoming, the courage to face the unknown and create something new. When we understand this, ambition stops being a curse and becomes a gift, a tool for self-discovery and transformation. In the final section, we'll explore how to apply these ideas in your own life, why embracing the paradox of ambition is the key to true freedom, and how Nietzsche's philosophy can help you find meaning in the endless pursuit. The freedom to strive, finding meaning in the endless pursuit. So, if ambition is both a gift and a curse, how do we live with it? How do we embrace its power without being consumed by its dangers? The answer lies in something Nietzsche repeatedly emphasized: the freedom to create. Not just to create art or achievements, but to create your own meaning, your own values, your own life. Here's where the paradox of ambition truly unfolds. Ambition is inherently endless. It's a force that drives us to constantly seek more, to transcend limits, to grow beyond what we are. But that very endlessness is what makes it dangerous. It can feel like a prison, a treadmill you can never step off. Nietzsche's solution to this paradox is deceptively simple, yet profoundly difficult. Stop searching for an endpoint. Stop striving for a finish line. Instead, embrace the striving itself as the very essence of life. Think about it. Why do we assume that the purpose of ambition is to reach some final goal? Why do we believe that if we just achieve this one thing, a promotion, a degree, a certain amount of wealth, we'll finally feel fulfilled? Nietzsche would argue that this mindset is an illusion. Life is not a series of destinations. It's a process, a journey, a constant state of becoming. And the moment we let go of the need to arrive, we free ourselves from the curse of ambition. But freedom comes with responsibility. To live this way, to embrace the endless pursuit, we must take responsibility for our ambitions. We must stop letting them be defined by society, by other people, by fleeting trends and shallow desires. Nietzsche called this becoming the master of your own values. It means stepping back and asking yourself, what truly matters to me? What kind of life do I want to create? What kind of person do I want to become? Let me ask you this: if no one were watching, if no one were judging, if there were no social expectations to meet, what would you strive for? This is where Nietzsche's philosophy becomes incredibly practical. He's not asking us to abandon ambition, far from it. He's asking us to take ownership of it, to align our ambitions with our deepest values, rather than chasing goals that leave us feeling empty. To see ambition not as a burden, but as a tool, a way to create meaning in a world that doesn't hand it to us. And here's the beauty of it: when you embrace the endless pursuit, when you stop seeing ambition as a means to an end, you start to find joy in the process. You start to see every challenge, every failure, every moment of struggle as an opportunity to grow. You stop comparing yourself to others because you realize that your journey is uniquely yours. You stop fearing imperfection because you understand that growth is messy, and that's okay. This is what Nietzsche meant by Amor, Fati, the love of fate. It's the idea that we should embrace life in all its chaos, all its imperfection, all its striving. When we love fate, we stop resisting the endlessness of ambition and start seeing it as a gift. We stop waiting for life to meet our expectations and start creating a life that's meaningful to us. So, how do we apply this in our own lives? Start by reflecting on your ambitions. Are they truly your own, or have they been shaped by the expectations of others? Are they helping you grow, or are they keeping you stuck in a cycle of comparison and dissatisfaction? Next, focus on the process rather than the outcome. Instead of asking, "What can I achieve?" ask, "How can I grow? How can I learn? How can I become more of who I want to be?" Finally, embrace imperfection. Stop waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect plan, the perfect version of yourself. Start where you are, with what you have, and trust that the act of striving will lead you to places you can't yet imagine. And let me leave you with one final question. If you stopped chasing the illusion of a finish line, if you embraced the endlessness of ambition as the essence of life itself, what kind of freedom would you find? The paradox of ambition is that it's both a gift and a curse. But when we understand it, when we embrace it, when we take ownership of it, it becomes something far greater. It becomes the force that drives us to create, to grow, to live fully and authentically. And in that we find not just meaning, but freedom.